Okay, let's get this started. Alrighty, so we've got Lance Jeffery, who is, and I'm going to give him some props here right in the beginning, one of the single best snake handlers and looker after a type. There's me using my higher grade English here. This guy, in my opinion, and I'll happily debate anyone that wants to fight with me, but yeah, this is one of the best snake guys that I know, and I know a few. And we've come out to Wartburg to do a very rare episode because I don't do mobile podcasts. They suck. But yeah, man. So excuse the sound. It's going to be echoey, whatever else. A very aggro little snake in the back here. So it'll be some entertainment. It's going to be an entertaining one. Lance, what exactly are you? What do you do?
So, basically, I'm a kid who never grew up. Loved dinosaurs as a kid. Used to walk around the garden like a T-Rex trying bugs off my granny's roses. True story. And then I suppose one day I realized I'm never going to have a pet dinosaur. So I went to the next best thing and just kept playing with bugs, progressing. So I suppose if I had to give myself a title, the closest thing would be zookeeper because captive animal management is my main focus. But pretty much ending with an animal.
That's fantastic.
Fucking enjoy it, will go.
You've got an insane passion for snakes. The one thing that I interviewed Cam earlier, and we all worked at the same place at one stage, and that's how we all met and whatnot. And I got to see you firsthand handle and actually run probably one of the biggest venomous snake collections in the country, if not Africa. And the kind of passion that you bring to it is the thing that I always talk to people about. And I was like, oh, what did you do up in KZN? I'm like, I work for some guys that just really love snakes. And you've got an insane passion.
Thank you.
And it shows. Like it's every conversation I think I've almost ever had with you, somewhere along the line is going to loop back to a snake or an invertebrate. Or, you were talking about some bugs earlier.
Yeah.
We were just having a chat, and you're like, bro, we got these bugs. And I don't see passion like that often. Where does it come from, dude?
So I think my grandpa's got a big role in that. As much as he hates, he'll admit it, but he hates it because this was not what he had planned for, maybe game range or something like that. But
sure.
I just remember from a young age, SABC 3 on a Sunday always had the David Attenborough thing.
Yes.
So a lot of those grew up with Steve Irwin, and of course I saw a lot of Steve Irwin as well. But David Attenborough was kind of my guy. And what I like about David Attenborough's stuff is no almost getting bitten in the face. We know they're dangerous. It's a venomous snake, you know what I mean? So I don't need to show you it's dangerous, but I can show you it's more beautiful, its behaviors and stuff. So always used to watch that, and I think it was always I remember going to a flea market once, and they had all these different placemats, and it was a different animal, and my grandpa was like, "What's this one? What's this one? What's this one?" And so from there, and then Wartburg surprisingly has got a library as well.
Oh,
yeah. And a KFC now. So moving on up. But so my grand would take me to the library, and I just get books on crocs and snakes and everything. And then but even before that, when I was a kid, my grandparents bought me a brown house snake when I was 3 because I was sticking my hand in holes and when they say to me, "What am I doing?" Hardly pronounce the word snake. I say snake. So they're like, "Let's buy this kid a snake that's safe, and then you can play with that." I had that snake for 2 days, and then I left his lid off, and we didn't have rats in the roof after that.
There you go.
Yeah. So it just, I don't know. I tell people I didn't choose to do this. I've tried to do other things. I have worked as a zookeeper from the time I left school till today. I'm not in a zoo; it's my own zoo now. But
so you're the chief monkey. Huh?
Yeah, finally. So I've tried to do other things, but I'll always come back to this. It's so God chose this for me, and I think He gave me a talent in being able to speak about them and get people to see them in just a little bit of a different perspective, because we're so ingrained with this whole, from when we're young, hey, don't walk in the bush without shoes on. What's your shoes gonna help you if a snake bites you? You know what I mean? But all those little things that
see a snake, get a spade.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
all of those little things go into our brains, and then we don't even give them a chance at that. So yeah, like I don't know if I really answered that properly. But yeah,
So you're running a couple of things.
Yeah.
One of them is the invertebrates that you are breeding.
Yeah.
That is
Next gen exotics.
Next gen. There we go. I need exotics in it somewhere. I'm like trying to go through. So next gen exotics. What's the whole thing there? Like why are you doing it? What's the purpose of it? Why do we need these bugs? And or who's using them even?
Yeah,
you know?
so our main focus is like isopods, woodlice, hoatlice. There's a couple different names for them. But people use them in bioactive enclosures. So like if Bex, you want to just show off that one there. It's basically an enclosure where you don't do anything in it.
Okay.
The snakes must poop in there, they must shed their skin because isopods are detritivores, so they basically take out any decaying matter. So they'll clean up the poop, the shed skin, the old leaves and stuff like that. And then I've always kind of been into isopods. Like the way I found out about them was like when I was younger, I got a camera, like a little, the little point and shoot, those. I one of those, and I was like heavy photographer. So like I just took a photo of everything that was under one rock. And one of them was like a really cool isopod, and I posted it, and I had mates overseas that, through snakes and stuff, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is an unknown species of isopod, and I was like, okay, these are worth money. So, they're easy. Yeah. They weren't worth money. I think I sold 100 for 100 rand or something like that, so they weren't worth money, weren't worth much money then.
Yeah.
Then the whole bioactive thing set off. Everyone, like keeping snakes has just progressed so much from, like if you went to a snake park when you're a kid, and it's like block, piece of carpet, dog dish, like that was it. From that we slowly progressed. Like even these now are kind of outdated, but these travel, so I can't make them too. And so now with that moving on, then people wanted slightly more colorful ones. So but the whole reason why we started it actually is because we needed something that we could be making money with all the time to fund all of this.
Yeah.
So like our main thing that we focus on is next gen education, which is, it's not like registered as anything, but it's basically like our non-profit.
Sure.
So like we do my whole thing, and Becca gets a little bit irritated about this, but like money's great.
That's great.
I don't really care for it much though.
Yes.
But I like money because then I can build better enclosures. I can buy land for animals. I can do a whole bunch of cool things with money, but like I don't really care about it. So, and my biggest thing is I don't need to teach the guy who goes to a private school and everything. Like he needs to learn, but he's probably got access to the internet or like DSTV or something like that, and he can watch shows, and he's probably not going to stand on a buffet in a mall. You know? So whereas the guy who's herding cattle every day, he's got a good chance. So how do I make that contact? So we do any kind of really rural school, we'll do completely free. We do orphanages for free. We did a thing at the Botanical Gardens the other day for Happy Earth Day for free. Like, because I love teaching people about snakes, and sometimes if I put a price in front of that, they're going to say, well, I'd rather get a bag of chips. I don't really like snakes. So, so Next Gen Exotics, that funds a lot of what we do there. Then we've got the jungle, which is what we do all of our like pop-up reptile parks at the moment. I don't really want to be like a traveling zoo. It kind of gives me a bit of a circus vibe, and like anyone who knows me knows I hate circuses. So these animals are not coming at, like, she's not going to do a backflip once, I promise. If she does, I'll be surprised there. But she might.
She was like jumping all around earlier. Now that the camera's on, all of a sudden she's shy.
But so we like, our plan is to get like a permanent base, but for now we can't afford that. So we just try and get snakes into people's lives wherever we can. So that's like our main focus. But Next Gen Exotics, it's been really helpful to us, and we do make money on school shows and things like that, but September holidays or July holidays, no schools. So, like that's where Next Gen Exotics helps a bit. And also, I just really like playing with bugs. So. It's a business though. We're making money.
I mean, look, if you're doing what you enjoy, you're not working. No. So, and that's what everyone aims to do, is not work. So it's not a, not a bad thing.
Becca gets a little bit irritated when all of a sudden, like, I've got to pay 18,000 rand for stick insects, but not lose half of them in the beginning. But it's a good learning curve.
Yeah. Why educating people about snakes? What's the? I mean, I get you live in Natal, so yes, people can step on a snake wall. That doesn't technically impact your life at all.
No.
Why educating people? What's the point there?
So it's all good and well me having all of these snakes in cages, like, and you know, obviously everyone would like things in the wild. Fortunately, there's not much wild left. So you know, like every bunny hugger shouts, "Oh, they belong in the wild. Come show me the wild, bro." Because I've been there, and you'll find snares, you'll find plastic, you'll find rubbish, you'll find all of that. So if I'm gonna put them in these cages, like every single one of these animals in this room works. They're not on a free. Every single one of these animals has been at a show, has had a kid touch it, including the green mamba in a safe way. Of course, we don't just chuck green mambas to kids. But you know, like, because I want people not to become me, not to. Because also there's a little bit more competition. Not just like him from a distance. Let me do this on mine.
Yeah, there's only so much space for guys playing with snakes.
But you only, like, I know from my point of view, like, it's one thing if I tell you about it. Like, let's say there's no snakes around you and you're scared of snakes. They won't bite you. Shot. Yeah,
cool. Well done. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, thanks. Remember that one.
Yeah.
But if I can show you it, and like, maybe I'm a little bit addicted to this one part, and this is what it all comes into, is I've had it with old ladies with cheetahs, and I've had it with snakes, I've had it with so many different animals, and it's like such a gift. Is that moment when their eyes just like, it goes from fear to awe. And the only thing standing in between is understanding. Because if I don't, like, I don't know, aliens. I don't know if there's aliens, but I watched one movie once and those have got laser guns and stuff. So, but I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
Okay, I know that they don't, well, I don't know, mate. I don't know. But
We've not seen
whatever,
one.
let's not go there. Let's not go there. But do you know what I'm saying? You're more afraid of something you haven't learned anything about. So if I tell you and I show you, like I'll take him, I'll neck the snake behind his head and I'll release him right between my legs. Not because I'm trying to show everyone that I've got the biggest pair, no. Because I want to show you, the snake's not going to bite me. Like, most of the time, you really have to try hard. And then, you know, so like, once people like learn that and you just get that, like all of a sudden the questioning is different. And like, I love that part. Because like, also with me, you know, I didn't just wake up one day and like, there's a lot of people that educated me about snakes. And like, I remember I actually ended up working for this park. I was in grade 7 and Wartburg School went on tour to Limpopo, and we went to what was then Swatini Reptile Park, which became Kamai Reptile Center, and that's where I worked. And there was a guy there, Warren Klein. Warren Klein, if you watch this, I've never told you this, but you were vital there. I watched him do a show, and of course I'd really like snakes. And I looked at him and I was like, I want to be you. Like, I want everything that you have, I want, except for his hair stuff. But I just wanted to be him. And then I met the owner, Donald Stratham, and like, he was in my books and stuff. And like, as a kid, it's Donald Stratham. I ended up working there, and he taught me like so much. And it's just all of that like education thing, and like the vibes that people get. Oh yeah, I love it.
That is fantastic, man. I actually commented on one of your videos a while back, and I've watched enough snake videos and whatever else. I'm gonna have an understanding and whatnot. But you did a video a while back on a black mamba. And if you go and type in black mamba into YouTube, you will find a lot of videos, number one, and the thumbnails are always that gaping black, mouth,
kiss of death.
the kiss of death, some guy going in the, in the thing, and it will go into this video, and some bruh jumps out like, oh, we've got this snake, the black mamba, with some whatever, and it's all energy and everything else, and out comes this mamba like it's trying to murder you. It's ready for you, and everyone goes, black mamba, hey, that's what a black mamba's like. Then you pull onto YouTube, drop like it was the first or second video, and the black mamba is cool as a flippin' cucumber. And I look at him like, wait, hold on, what's going on here? Like, we all know there's a lot of clickbait out there. Like, there's a hell of a lot of clickbait, and it seems to be, and even with like the programs on TV, and you like, people always go, oh yeah, there's that one show about the city, and there's that other show about this, and there's that other brand that does, and we're not going to mention names because we don't want to disparage anyone.
No, we don't want to give them more claim from us.
But you pull this black mamba out, you're having this like a little chat, and I'm assuming on a tree outside here somewhere. Cool as a cute. Like, what's the story there? I mean, are these like shaking the box before they bring them out? Or?
No, I just put my snakes in the fridge first. No. So, I was very lucky with that snake as well. I've known that snake. It was owned by mates of mine, but I've literally seen that snake from when it was an egg. It's had a really good life. We try not restrain it, and even I know the guys who own it, they don't try and restrain it too much. And basically is like, but also is, wait, I'm going to start this again. All right. So I am lucky with that snake. She was nice. But the problem is that does not sell.
Yes.
So if I can take a snake, get the wildest one I can find, always neck him, always be rough, hectic. It's really easy to work on. Like this snake, when we were moving around and doing everything, she was up and going.
Yes. Yeah.
Now she's calm. So like what I've learned, and I've caught a lot of black mambas in the wild. I've caught a lot of snakes in the wild, and I've moved thousands of animals because this is what I've done every day, and it's how I made my money. So I couldn't be like, oh, I'm not feeling well. Like I make graphs, so I've got to do it. So I've learned, and I've also been taught by guys who've been around for so much longer than me. Is like calm, easy movements. You get a much different reaction out of an animal. I've taken a brown house snake, put it in someone's hand who's scared, and that snake is vibing. It doesn't like it. And I put it into someone who's calm, and the snake just sits. And that's all to do with like the different chemicals that we release. Fear and aggression, we release the same chemical. That's why when you're scared of a dog, it gives you a bit of a weird vibe. It can't smell your fear, but it can smell whatever you're excreting. Yeah. So if you calm around the snake, you're going to get a calmer reaction. But it is quite easy for me to go and act like a wally and whip it around and like, you know, put it on the grass and make it run for days and get it tired. Like, you can do that, sure. But I mean, I don't. Again, Steve Owen, David Attenborough. Like, there was one shot from Life in Cold Blood that was filmed at Kamar with David Attenborough. And it's a green mamba, and he's standing behind a log. Green mamba's on the log. It looks like he's super close because that thing. And my first video, green mamba on a log, looks like I'm right here. Because I love that. That's, you know, and I think also, what I tried to decide straight in the beginning, because I'll be honest with you, this whole YouTube thing was not really what I wanted to do, but I had a lot of people telling me I should. So I was like, worth a try. But it's hard to find your voice, especially when you've worked with a lot of other voices.
Yes.
Because, you know, you get that idea that this is how it's done. I've never agreed with some of the ways, so I don't want to do it like that. And then I was like, am I trying to advertise me, or am I trying to advertise that? If I'm trying to advertise that, I go the Attenborough approach. If I'm trying to advertise me, like there's a guy, you probably heard of it, got bitten by inland taipan now in America. Okay. Like one of the first bites from inland ever. Big time free handler. I hate it. I hate it. I hope you pull through, bud, but yeah. Go check Facebook, you know what I think of you. So he takes the taipan, sticks it in the water, bites his hand. But like 2 weeks before that, he posts on Facebook, he's a big free handler, doesn't use tools. Anti-venom is for P-word.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, now I know. Okay, yes.
He gets bitten by said taipan.
Please, I need anti-venom.
Please. Yeah. He also posted a video once of him free-handing a boomslang. I've seen a couple boomslang in my life. He says whenever he feeds his boomslang, the thing just like starts squirting blood because the venom. I've never seen a boomslang give the mouse a chance, bro. It's going down alive normally. So I don't know what he's talking about. That video had 23 million views.
Sure.
Talking nonsense, holding probably the easiest snake to free handle in the world. So I think for everyone who does do this with snakes and stuff, it is quite like a, you know, it's like a little apple on the or carrot on the end of a stick, because you're like, okay, I can keep doing boring videos and actually sending my message, or like, hey, can I get some clout and let me grab her, you know, I'll free it.
Well, I mean, right? 23 million views on YouTube is a little bit of bucks in the bank.
That's all right there.
Yeah.
But so we just stick to what we do and just keep calm. I think it's, as I say, I'd rather have the person appreciating the snake, and like, especially with the black mamba, it's so easy to make it like that because there's so many stories about them, and everyone's going to believe it because, like I say in my
got a rep,
the shows that I do is like, if I'm coming to your posse, coming to your house, and then here's a black mamba, and I come to your house and I say to you, bro, you won't believe it, there's a black mamba there. You're like, yeah, and? Oh, it's probably still there, I don't know. Like, boring story.
Sure.
But if I tell you,
but now you need some shaky camera footage in your Hilux bucky down the road.
and it spat flames at me and swore at my mother and pulled a knife. Then all of a sudden, and when I first saw it, it was a meter. The second time I saw it was 4 meters. Now it's a world record snake. Because it just keeps getting bigger. And like, so it's easy to make content like that. I don't want to, I'm not doing this because I think it's a good, my main thing is I want to show people how I am with snakes, because I want them to actually get me to come to their place wherever they are and like let me do a show for them.
Yeah.
But I understand that it's risky if you haven't had the person before, because there are some crazy people. Maybe I'm on that list, I don't know. But like, you know, like we try and show that we are safe and we can. So yeah, but that's the two different ways of doing it. The Attenborough versus Stewart, and I think is the.
You've got a love for, I think, a lot of animals. Crocodilians. I've seen you jump onto a few crocs. I saw you once get nailed in the nads. That was.
Bro, I don't know if I'm gonna have children. That wasn't the first time that happened either. Scramble the eggs.
I've never seen someone drop so quickly to the ground.
Yeah.
And it was the thing about it was how quick it was. And it wasn't even a big. I don't know what croc it was. I can't remember what it was. It was a gator, yeah. But it wasn't like, you're okay, blah blah blah. It was a small thing, and you think, oh, okay, cool. But I mean, I've dived onto the back end of a couple of crocs. Normally, after you, like you always took the business end, and I was like either on a rope or behind when we were trying to move crocs or whatever at one stage. And the strength of those things is just
stupid.
Even the little like caimans and whatnot.
Yeah.
You hold that thing, you're like, hey, bro, you're this long. How?
Yeah. It's, you know, like we look at them as these big, heavy things. Like that's all muscle. Yeah, sure, there's like a bit of fat, but not much on a croc. Like you get croc meat, you don't really see too much fat in it. So it's just pure muscle. Like, so my first croc I ever caught, right? I got this job I'd worked with crocodiles a lot. So like, let me put that in there. I'd done excessive work with crocs. I'd never jumped on a crocodile though. I'd worked in zoos where the crocs had been in the same enclosure for 30 years. There's no need to move them, you know. I'd feed them and I'd play with them. I got chased by them every now and then, but like I never physically had to restrain one of these things. And I was working in a place in UAE, in Abu Dhabi at that point, Emirates Park City. And we had these two big crocs. One's name was Dundee, of course. It's an crocodile, anyway, I didn't name it. And the other one I can't remember. It was a boring croc. It was quite small. But Dundee ended up grabbing this croc on the jaw and like ripping the top part of his jaw off. And it was like, if we don't move him now, he's going to die. So I was like, okay, let's jump it. And everyone's like, oh, okay, do you know what you're doing? And my whole thing is fake it till you make it. I've watched hours of people doing this.
I've watched 35 videos of X jumping across. How hard can it actually
be? I've got Steve Irwin's boxing. So I just did exactly what like you watch on TV. You know? Wow. Like I very quickly realized these things are quite strong, especially when it's had off its face like bitten and he's a little bit, he thinks he's getting killed. Luckily I jumped it on my own. I told no one to come with me because I was like, I didn't really know what I'm doing. I didn't tell them that, but like if I make a mistake, I don't want someone else to die. Like rather let me die because like I don't know how to live with that. That would be terrible. And like I got him down and I remember like pushing his face down and like, you know, everyone says, oh, opening strength is so much. Yeah, it's so much less. But when you've got a ton coming down, like so much less could be 100 kilos. It's still 900. You know, it's heavy. It's not near 900. But so I like push it down, and I remember saying to myself, just keep going till you feel sand in your fingernails. Because if I'm feeling sand on my fingernails, I can't be in his mouth and I can close. So I push, grab it, pull it up. They quickly come tape, jump off. Like no worries. Go to untape the thing. Also, never done this again. Get the tape like going off. Got no worry in the thing. It just starts spinning like, and I'm like this. So I just like kind of, and I got out of there. And I'm like, I remember lying in bed that night, being like, I probably shouldn't have done that, eh? But it's we did it safer now. But that was the first time.
You mentioned I'd rather somebody else die than me.
No, rather me die.
Oh, sorry, yeah. It's the other way around. Sorry, rather you die than somebody else. I've seen the color drain from your face
Bro, we need to talk about that.
a couple of times. Like once with a snake where Rebecca was around and we were trying to get all the shed off.
Bushmaster.
The Bushmaster and there was an an almost.
No, that to me that's like if you're in a position where it almost bit you, it bit you.
Yes.
Like maybe I'm not going to hospital, but it's bitten me.
Yeah.
And in that case, it bit my fiancée in the stomach.
Yeah.
So yeah, not a good day.
Yeah. And then the other one, which was maybe more first-hand for me, is that emu.
Really?
That was...
like, things like that for me, I mean, I didn't even own that animal. It wasn't my idea. I still said this is going to go badly because I had caught it originally. And I felt like I had no chicken in that thing, bro. You know what I mean?
Chicken, bro.
Yeah, big bird. It's a freaking...
This the scar.
Yeah. And I remember saying to the person whose idea it was, this is not a good idea.
Yes.
This is not a good idea. Like this, you don't understand the power of this thing. You don't understand, it's just a big turkey, whatever. And I'm like, okay, it's not my business, not my animal. But for me, as someone who was in charge of all the animals, if someone gets hurt, it's my fault.
Yeah.
Even if I had no control, and I'll always hold myself to that because I'm the one who knows. So if I see something happening that, and to be honest with you, I don't really know much about emus there. I probably wouldn't have caught it the first time if I'd known what it can do.
Yes.
You
would have been like, okay, hold on, this is not a good idea.
I remember like that thing just going off and like bang, bang, bang. And then like you were in the van and I came in and I saw that one and there was like yellow stuff coming out.
Yeah.
And
his whole arm was covered in blood. It was like dripping off my fingers.
I was like, this is bad. Like, get you away from it. And I'm like...
I remember, so when you guys came and asked, you're like, I was packing stuff away and you're like, hey, do you want to come help with this thing? And you had that smile on your face, that little naughty grin. And I was like, okay, cool. I know what's going to go on here. This is fun. We work with animals. I'm going to get a bit rolled around, yeah? And I was busy at that stage. Like, we were prepping for a huge show or whatever else. Didn't have the time. And he said, yeah, Cam's coming. And I was like, I'm not letting my mate go and wrestle this turkey by himself. Because Cam is...
as much as questionable. He's like, yeah. Like, I haven't even seen what we're doing.
Yeah, as much as Cam says he's 6'3", he's not.
No. But his heart is.
Yeah, his heart is. But I remember, we were talking about strength of animals. I mean, so you guys were like, okay, jump on the thing. I weighed like 93 kilo at the time. Cam, I don't know, 63 kilos wet, maybe a bit more.
Rocks in his pockets.
And we jumped on this damn thing. And it was crouched down. And we both hit that thing full on. And it just stood up like we weren't there. And into the top of that canopy and just threw us both off. I was like... Okay, I was expecting to get rolled a little bit. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, like it becomes a point where it's like it's not fun anymore. Like this is like people can die here.
Yeah. And then we dived on the thing again. It swapped us off again. And then the third time we kind of got it. And then all that thing did was da-da. And like I sat at the doctor afterwards and because I was like, cool, whatever. Yeah, it hurt. I mean, it wasn't like, I was sitting there sobbing or anything. It was sore, but then there's a little bit of blood and the yellow stuff was fat, I'm assuming.
I don't know.
I've got a lot.
When you see that, you know it's bad though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's fat. I don't know. But I would know when you see that, stitches.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. And the doctor, when she cleaned out this whole thing, she had her fingers, she had to check inside. She had her finger up to her knuckle. Inside.
Well, he's got one massive claw.
Yeah.
It's like just one huge claw. Like a velociraptor. That's what it is. It's a velociraptor that eats millies.
Yes.
That's what it is.
The other one was in on my chest. And she was like up to the first knuckle in here. And she was like, you were a few mils away from puncturing a lung. And I was like, you don't think you're in that much kind of danger.
So with that again, like, I didn't realize how... Like, death wasn't on the cards for me. Right?
Sure.
But as soon as, and like I say, I was very, it was like, let's check.
Yeah.
But then, remember when we got there, I saw that the legs were untied. And then I still said, and the other one was nah.
Yeah, but by then it was like, come on guys, get in. Yeah.
But when I saw the legs weren't tied, because I tied the legs and I knew like even just trying to hold his shins, he's got like his spikes on his shin.
Those spikes,
That thing's not like it's a. I hate that bird. But no, I don't. But you know, like when I saw that, I'm like, okay, now this is like people can die here, and that's the whole thing of like, where do you like draw a line? Because like, are you trying to teach people about animals to get them to love them, or are you trying to come as close to dying as you can every day? Well, because I'm not going to love something that can kill me.
Yeah.
Like that's the general I do, but I'm not normal. So you know, like there's, I don't know. That whole situation I had, like I think Bex knows, like for like 2-3 days, bro. Like I was feeling sick because I was like, imagine someone like died, and I've been so lucky. Touch wood.
Yeah.
I've been so lucky in my career that the worst thing I've ever seen was a Arabian oryx put its horn like right through a chick's thigh. But again, that was probably the best thing that could have happened in that situation. But I've never had anyone really bad happen. A good mate of mine, you know him as well, Tommy Titsavitsavitsvi.
Yes.
Saw him get tagged in the stomach by a green mamba. That wasn't a good day for me. I was teaching him how to do it. He had been with us before. He had handled that same snake. I think just lack of concentration or something, and also just lack of experience. You know, like
sure.
You know, to me, I know exactly what it feels like when a snake is slipping off the hook and stuff, and it's just natural reaction. So, but you know, when you're trying to let people do things that they probably shouldn't be doing it, just like because they paid, I don't agree with that too much because like look at that day. And like, I remember it fit down, went past and he was like, oh, it almost bit me. I'm like, Tommy, lift your shirt, it did bite you. And he lifts his shirt to, well, no, one fang mark. Just, so luckily it caught the shirt and like most of it came out there and then you just got a bit of a graze. But I mean, that was, you know, then you start, so a lot of people when they get bitten by anything that they think might be venomous, they start to like, it's called psychosomatics, you know, you start to imagine things. And
I know I'm going to start sweating. I'm sweating.
And, you know, you start thinking all the symptoms in your head and you start showing those signs and stuff. And like, I've got Tommy like on my chest, oh, Lance. And I'm like, if this like dies, I'm cooked. I'm not coming back. Like, I'm so far gone.
Sell all the snakes. I'm done. I'm working for McDonald's.
I'm going to go find like an island off of Mozambique and just become like a creature. You know, like, no, man. So I hope that stays like that because, as I say, like it's...
Well, the thing is like, outside of like very few circumstances, you take a lot of precaution when you work with animals. It was one of the things that I've noticed. I've been around a few guys that have done animals, and in my whole life, met oaks that have either worked with and different stuff from farming through to snakes, and like I know about maybe 5 or 6 snake guys, you know, that I've had come across. But the one thing that always stands apart for me about you is that you take a lot of precaution. Like even if you're with someone else and they're helping you, you're going to jump a croc, you always explain exactly what's going to go on. And that's I've always respected like the heck out of you for that, because it's like, cool, you're not just throwing people into the deep end, for lack of a better word. You know, it's like, okay, guys, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to do this. It's going to do that. Watch out for this. If you see that, do this, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, it's a good thing.
Thank you for that. But like my whole thing is, if you get hurt, the last 6 months of me working my balls off to make people learn about these things are like now the wrong message is getting through.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, and especially like if you are someone who's slightly well known with snakes, like even if you come from top end of Northern Cape, you got a population of 5 in your town, and you are the slangman there. Like you have got a responsibility to everything that you do. If you say you're as passionate as you are about these things, to not get bitten.
Yes.
Because newspaper article doesn't say guy makes careless mistake and gets bitten. It says snake expert.
Yes.
Because you keep 3 house snakes in your garage, you're an expert now.
Yes.
Like, but that's what the newspaper will say.
Yeah.
Snake expert bitten by snake. And then that just kills our chances. It kills their chance because everyone's like, oh, I told you so. Told you so.
And out come the spades. Yeah.
My whole thing is like, if we were playing cricket, getting bitten, you've lost your wicket, but walk back. You've lost. So when these always come on and they like always, I've been, but we were fetching rodents from a place the other day, and there was this other guy there, and like he saw me, and then all of a sudden like big stories start coming out. I don't know why. Like
because you're known, and they want to try and elevate themselves to to some kind of level. Yeah.
I've been bitten by a black mamba 3 times this year. So I'm like, you should probably stop catching black mambas, but you're not good at it. No. The one went across, and I had to hold it down with my foot so it didn't bite my mate. And I'm like, so grab stick? A little bit better than a foot grab stick, maybe. If I'm going to catch a black mamba, maybe take it right. Like, don't tell people. If you get bitten, shut up. Like, keep it up. I've had one proper bite, and that's from those little, not those exact ones, but that species, a purple mangrove viper. 16 years old, same story as the crocodile thing. I'd watched people necking snakes, and I thought, oh, I'm going to neck a viper this big. His head is that big, his fangs are that long.
Yeah.
So there's not really, I mean, I could do it now, but I didn't know what I was doing then.
Yes.
And got tagged in the finger. But every time I'm about to work with a snake, I always look at my finger, because then it's, hey.
Little reminder.
And unfortunately, like, if you're doing this every single day, it's like saying a carpenter is never going to hit himself on the thumb with a hammer. It's going to happen. But as long as I take all the, and to be honest with you, with the tools and stuff that we have, you should never have, I think ASI Johan Marais sells like a 2 meter long, 2.4 meter grab stick. You can be miles from the thing if you want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, you don't have to get close. But, I mean, things do happen. Complacency is the biggest one. I'm bad with that. This guy here, I would put him around my neck. I love him so much. Like, and he's just a really docile snake. But he's still a green mamba.
Yes.
And, people are like, oh, my snake is tame. Well, you know nothing, because they don't even have a frontal lobe.
Yeah.
So you can get habitualized snakes. You can get snakes that are more tolerant to, so like even with mammals, we do desensitization tasks. So like putting the cage that they're going to walk into for transport, if you put it in there before the time, they get desensitized to it. It's not as a big thing. So you can work with desensitization of the snakes and not making them react to touch as much, but it's never going to be tame. This thing will never love me. I know, how I know that? He doesn't have the part of the brain to. It physically cannot happen. So, you've got to keep that in your mind, because it is easy, like, especially if you love them, and like, all I want to do is just, So I've taken some risks in my life, and I've as I say, I've been really lucky. Like, I mean, listen to the 2 stories I've just told now. It's like, but again, like I say, I can't get out of this. There's something that I need to do, and I'm just got to keep doing it till it's done.
I love it.
When it's done, I don't know, but we'll check.
Yeah. What are if someone is trying to get into like this kind of industry? I always I ask people like, would you advise it? A lot of people just go, no. Like, and that's with like random stuff like, how do you get into sales? And the guy's like, you don't. It's passion kind of first almost. But if someone's looking like they have that passion, what's the kind of way to get in? What's the right way to do it, at least?
So unfortunately, animals will never pay. You're never going to earn a lot of money for it. It does cost a lot of money to study though. So it's a little bit, you've got to understand that if you're doing this, you'll live. You'll live. But you're never going to be driving nice cars or anything. But I mean, like my first boss ever, he said to me, you'll never be a millionaire, but you'll never stop smiling. And he didn't lie. Like, I smile every day. I love this stuff. But if you're willing to do that, my first thing, before you start studying, because I've worked with a lot of different people, a lot of different zoos, you go and do 250,000 Rand captive animal management courses and stuff like that, with the idea that being a zookeeper is playing with animals. I can tell you for free, 99% of it is picking up poop. I'm a glorified toilet cleaner.
Yes.
The best way to get into it though, and that will teach you that, volunteer.
Okay.
Go somewhere every weekend. Like, I promise you, as someone who keeps a lot of animals, no one's ever going to turn down free help. So, and try and choose someone who's maybe not crazy, like, who has kept snakes for, especially if you want to get into venomous snakes, like that's, keeping snakes, there's so much information, like non-venomous snakes if you want to pet and stuff, but if you want to do it like as a proper thing, you've got to have that foundation, and you can't study that type of stuff that someone like Richard Boynton from Creatures and Critters could teach you. He's been doing it for a very long time and he's still here. If you're still here, you know what you're doing, And Richard doesn't have a list of 150 million snake bites. Like, I got bitten by this, I got bitten by that. You're probably not good at what you're doing, so change it. Go back to, I don't know, insurance. So, like, find someone who can like really, like, what do you call it? Mentorship.
Yes.
Like a mentorship.
Yeah,
Find a good mentor, someone who can like get you going. And then if you can do it for like, say 4 months of every weekend and you're not cut full of it, carry on, spend the money, study. And then also once you've studied, you've got that time that you volunteered to help you, because not many zoos say, oh, well, you've got a degree, or well, I've never touched a snake in my life. Well, that doesn't really help me.
Yes.
So like if you volunteered and you've got that thing in, then, and also it gives you time to find out if you, like, as I say, it's not cheap to study. I've never studied anything. I was really, really fortunate.
You
like,
can't. No, you can't. Oh, I'm not going to let you say you haven't studied.
No,
you have read, dude. I've seen the books that you've gone through. Like so much. Okay, fine. You haven't officially.
Yeah, I've
like,
got no official degree.
No accredited degree, but
Yeah.
you, bro, when you start talking about snakes, and then you're like, oh, yeah, this, and now you're pulling out names and stuff, and there's Greek and Latin flying around, and this kind of that, and the venom, and this, and how the venom reacts, and blah, 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 blah. You've put the time in, though.
Fair, yeah. I'm actually bad to myself like that, because I'm always like, hey, bro, you're just like a, oh, this is what I do. I'm not, but as you say, I've spent, like, I never had porn mags, bro. I had snake magazines. My buddies would come into the thing I'm supposed to be studying. There's a snake book inside my thing.
I now know what's going on to the thumbnail.
For me,
I now know what's going on to the thumbnail. That's fantastic. That's a great.
I know. But I'm very ADHD.
Yeah.
I will walk from here to the room next door and I'll forget what the hell I went there for. Okay? The only thing, and this is why again I say, like, you find your passion and you make it happen. Like, this is the only thing I can ever do, is because it's the only information I can retain. I can read, like, I've got Bex will vouch for it. Like, I can read something once on the way to a show. At the show, I do the whole thing, and it's like, because I just retain the information because I want it so badly. The more I know about them, the more I can teach about them, the more I can do all of these things, and I can never be stumped. And also the best part, I will never know everything.
Yeah.
There are like 6,000 recognized species of snake. That's not lizard. That's not, you know what I mean? Like, I've got a lot to learn still, and it's like, oh yes. So I have, I suppose, no, but I'm always like, oh yeah, they studied. I can't keep up with them. And then they talk, and you're like, oh, what did you study?
But all those guys are coming to you for advice.
Yeah. I went with this one chick who, like, shame. She was actually really nice. So I doubt she'll watch it. So I don't know where she is, if she's alive or not. But she got like a master's degree in nature conservation or something like that. And we walk into the enclosure and she's like, oh, there's fickies on the floor. And I was like, you spent like 300k studying and they didn't tell you how to pronounce feces, bro. Yeah. So I think, like, I don't think anything beats hands-on, but like this kind of thing, again, it's more of an art than a science, if I'm honest. Like, I know, because again, going back to that frontal lobe thing, like, snakes have one personality. It's not like, if I've worked with enough Snyder cobras, I know, okay, a Snyder cobra can do this, but you can't do that. Don't touch him. Yeah, touch him there. Like, you learn like little things, and the only way you can learn that is by volunteering and getting hands-on with it. So
the snakes, from my very limited experience, they react differently. So, like, if you're handling a black mamba or a cobra, I mean, for like, a cobra is not going to jump up and bite you. A cobra bites down. It's something that I heard you say once, and like, where you were like doing a show or whatever else, and like you say, oh, look, here's how the cobra will strike down. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. If I'm ever in front of a Cape Cobra, being in Cape Town, I know that I have to worry about that down with it, but other snakes will jump up, like it's.
So what I was meaning with that is, like, you can check the length of the strike. You can still strike out.
Sure.
Like, so most dangerous cobra in this room is the one that's not spreading herd, because he wants to chow. So when he's gonna, like, because they actively hunt, but in the wild you're never gonna come across a snake like that. They know you're not a child. Like, every time I go, I moved yours out there. Every time I move the glass, that was almost bad. Every time you move the glass, the snake's like, chow, you know? And then that's a dangerous snake. But in the wild, it's never going to be thinking that. He's going to be standing up, and then it's exactly that. He's going to be coming like that. He's not going to all of a sudden.
If someone wants to get, like, a lot of people want to get a pet snake. So, like, I don't know, are you, like, for it? Are you 100%. Against it?
100, so for it. Like, what a better way to learn how to understand the thing than to actually have one. Best pet in the world, ball python. Ball python. It's basically a pet rock. They are so easy to look after. I've got way too many. So if you want one, let me know. I'll sell you one.
We'll put your details in the description.
You know, like Brian Barchak, he said something one. He said conservation through captive propagation. Going back to the whole thing, what I said earlier about, it belongs in the wild. Okay, bunny hugger, get out of New York and come show me where's the wild. Because like I've checked, there's not much of it.
So everyone, I mean, the guys in the States think that we walk outside here and there's a crocodile and ride your lion to work and there's a leopard in a tree. And
they're surprised that we are from here because we're white.
Well, fair, yeah. But I mean, I just drove, and you guys are in the sticks here. Like, I mean, I knew you were far out, and then I drove to where I was like, yo, it's still 10 more Ks. Okay. But I didn't see a single animal.
No.
On the whole drive from Durban, Hillcrest, well, Kloof at least, from Kloof to here, I did not see a single animal on the road or...
No.
Nuts.
And also, like, even if you've got pockets of bush, you've got what we call habitat fragmentation. So, like, maybe we've got a pocket of bush here, but then there's a big highway going here, and his house is this side. So he's blocked in. And then there's another locality over here, but it's also the habitat fragmentation. And what we start to get with snakes, we don't see it too much, but with your mammals like cheetah and stuff, it happens very, very quickly. Is like the genetic diversity just becomes like they all moms and brothers, and you know, like things like that. So, like with cheetah, for example, the survival rate of the cubs is less than 3%.
Yeah.
So because of that genetic thing. So even if there is a pocket of bush, that is actually not really helpful to us.
Yeah.
Because we need that, like, all animals have that dispersal. So, you know, like the babies will be born with mammals, they'll stay for a while, but eventually there's that dispersal. And that's how the genetics are able to go around. But now when you've got one pocket of thing, and you say, okay, well, they will die out. Maybe not now, maybe not in 10 years, but in 20 years they will. So if we can captively propagate these animals, now you've got a zoo in Canada with cheetahs, I've got a zoo here in South Africa with cheetahs. I want your genetics, you want my genetics, and that's how we can keep these. And then one day, when World War III happens and there's like 2 million less people, and we've got space for these animals.
It's like 3 weeks from Wednesday.
Oh, I mean, can't wait. Can't wait to release animals.
No one's bombing Wartburg, so I think you're alright.
Why do you think I moved here? So, you know, like when eventually, maybe if that possibility ever does happen, or maybe we've got natural areas where something's got extinct, hey, yeah, have mine, put it back. Or I'll breed mine, take the babies, we release it. So we're basically creating a big genetic library around the world. And that's why, like, you know, zoos that are not part of WAS or anything like that, like, just do the extra work, pay the money, become it, because then you get it put onto a stud book. So we've got one stud book of all the animals in the world, and we know, okay, if we need this genetic, we've got it from there. So, like, a lot of people, WAS, they just want to make, no, like, it's the World Association of Zoos and Aquariums, so that we can all be on the same page here. Not one place that's keeping animals on concrete and the other place that's keeping it on whatever. Like, we all got the same standard, the same quality, because at the moment zoos get such a bad rap.
Yeah.
It's, they belong in the wild. I hate that saying. I hate that saying, because, like, we love these things. I promise you, more than you sitting in your little fancy place in Los Angeles does. I promise you that. I do. Because I will literally die today if it meant that these things get better things. So if I thought it would be better for them to be in the bush, I promise you I wouldn't have one enclosure. I wouldn't. But yesterday, we drive out, beautiful 1.2 meter male boomslang squashed on the road. Perfect. That, like, you see that one little road, like, it's a tiny little road. That one road creates fragmentation.
Yes.
Because the population on this side of the road now has to run a gauntlet to get to this side of the road. And with all that vibration and noise, you don't often see the snakes moving. So, like, you know, like, people keep snakes, cool, 100%. Like, just, what's the difference? A ball python is probably, someone will comment, no, but, like, we're probably, like, at 1,000 at this point. Like, you know, they've been captive bred, like, they're basically a domestic animal, in my opinion. There's 150 different colors, I'll show you. Like, you know what I mean? So, how is that not a domestic animal?
If you go look in the, like, Ultimate Exotics on their website, like, this and a that and a this and a caramel and a pink and a green and an orange.
How is that a wild animal? It's not a wild animal, come on.
Yeah.
Even in the wild, ball pythons aren't wild animals. Like I say, they're rocks that move. But I love them, and like all of our ball pythons, I think they've done more work for conservation than any of these other snakes have, because it's the number one thing everyone's going to touch, because it's the only one I trust. Like, you know, so yeah, get snakes. Like I say, I've got lots.
Yeah.
Need to get rid of some.
What's your favorite snake in the world?
Green mamba.
Green mamba. Any specific green mamba? There are a few.
I love the West African green. Since a kid, I've just looked at, like, he's got those huge scales and all the different colors. So I love all of the whole green mamba complex. So Angusticeps, the Eastern, the Jamesons, the West African. I like black mambas. Not my favorite though. I don't think they're pretty. Like, I think it's actually quite an ugly snake. But because it's a black mamba, you know. But I don't think there's many snakes that are much prettier than like that.
Yeah.
It's just,
that green is ridiculous.
and also they're so chilled because they come from the South Coast. So they're like, yeah.
Just like the people from the South Coast.
They're so chilled.
Like,
They're so chilled. I love cobras. I love anything that can stand up and deliver. I think that's the.
But it's not very much more beautiful than that cobra, like a big one, you know, like a
thick
a monster, and he stands up and he looks at you and goes like, I am the harbinger of death.
Yeah.
And
he knows he's got. Yeah.
Like,
I love cobras.
Yeah.
Problem with cobras, I'm really allergic to them, so it doesn't stop me keeping them. But I am a lot more careful now than what I was when I wasn't allergic. But yeah, cobras. Then there's a lot of non-venomous snakes I really like. It's a very odd question. A lot of snakes. I can tell you which snakes I don't like.
Okay, yeah, let's go there.
I don't like anacondas. I'm lying. I like them. I love them.
Yeah.
But they are arseholes. Like, I'll show you later, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that is the most dangerous snake in the room. Thank God he didn't have venom, because I don't think anyone could handle that thing. I don't like snakes that musk a lot. Like, I still love all the snakes. It's just like some of the things that some of them do. Like spitters. But like this, like, yeah, he spits every now and then. He's kind of slowed down. But it just makes it uncomfortable.
The wrinkles, they stink up a room, huh?
Yeah, that's why I've only got one in here.
Yeah.
Is he there? Also standing up. Spit, but he doesn't spit anymore.
I heard him knocking just now.
Yeah, they're cool.
Lance, what does growing a pair mean to you?
Growing a pair, what does it mean to me? I think, brief one, standing up for what you know, and meaning what you say. So I think that's the hardest thing to grow a pair with. You can be like, hey, you don't know me, so you don't know me. That's not growing a pair. Just being a knob. But if for example you've upset me, growing a pair is like, hey, Des, listen, bro. What you did there wasn't I didn't appreciate it. That's growing a pair. And because I've had a lot of times in my life, people and that's so I'm really against that. And I think it's also really hard to do sometimes. To be honest, is probably the hardest, where you need the most balls. So yeah, that's what it means to me.
Lekker. I've enjoyed the crap out of this chat. I knew it was going to be good. I knew it was going to be good. I'm so stoked we got to sit around the snakes. I mean, we didn't get much of a show out of you, but there's always just.
I can poke it.
No. Hey, look, a snake! I'm gonna touch it.
Hey, move. Like I said, we are not a circus.
Dude, thank you so much for just taking the time out
thank you for coming,
chat.
Jeffery.
Yeah, it's great. I'm glad I had the opportunity to come up. I've been trying for ages, and then just by fluke,
and then it happened fast, though.
Oh. Yeah. So it's luckily my friend needs a car driven back to Cape Town. So I was like, I'll dive on that bomb. Don't worry, I've got you. I was like, Des, are you sure, bro? You're gonna have to take leave. I'm like, that's fine. I'm coming.
I took leave yesterday, boss.
I'm gonna speak to Lance.
No, thank you for coming, bro. It's always good to chat about snakes and it's a lekker chat.
You've got YouTube channel. It's you posted a couple of videos. You got a little TikTok thing going as well.
Yeah. It's quite a challenge, this thing, eh?
A little bit, bro.
So
it looks easy when you kind of just watching it. It's like, it's just a thing, eh? Click camera.
I was like, content, and then I'm like, hey, but editing a video, and then my computer is not made to edit much more than what you get on Microsoft Paint. So you got to render it, and it's like 8 days. And you're like, what? You know, so like that was quite a little thing. And then
I'll show you some tricks later.
please.
Yeah, I'll show you a couple of tricks. I've been learning from Cam. So
He knows his stuff. Right?
He knows his stuff.
Yeah, no, it's quite a, and also like I don't understand now. You'll post something on TikTok, 22,000 views. Same thing on Facebook. I mean on Facebook, even YouTube, whatever, like 2 views in like 40 days, and I'll just delete those ones. I don't want people to check I failed or not. Just delete that. So much good content. You guys will never get to see it because you don't support it.
My first podcast like clipped 100 views like the other day. It's been like a year. That was like my very first one.
So I should just leave them on there.
Just leave. Yeah, just
build
leave
that 100 off.
It'll come. As I find you, they'll want to watch more.
Also, like sometimes like I'll be like lazy because like in the beginning I was like I'm gonna post every day.
Oh yeah,
short.
Yes, yeah, of course you are.
And then it's like I've got lots of content, but it's not me to walk around with a like when I get in this room I get stuck in got animals and stuff. So to keep a phone on you the whole time or whatever, maybe put a GoPro on my head. But you know, like you forget, and then you're like, okay, let me just, and you'll do like a really stupid like little. Well, the one thing I put on Instagram, it was a photo that I put a song on, and somehow Instagram made that a reel. Got like 3,000 views, and I'm like, maybe because they thought it was a video, they like it just kept looping. So maybe I should try that again.
Check the snake, what it does.
And
have you seen those videos, right? And they edit them so that they loop really well.
Oh yeah,
and you're waiting, and it's like a car driving, and you're like, oh, the accident's coming, it's coming. And after like 2 minutes, you're like, yes, you're out. Hey, no, this thing's just looping there.
Yeah, I think that's the way forward. But and then I'll do other stuff where I like really put effort in, and like maybe I get too nerdy. I don't think. No, actually, I don't care if I'm too nerdy. Like that's just who I am. I
think there's a place for it. I was thinking, and I was chatting with Cam actually, like a while back, and a couple of other people that I mixed with like these YouTube types, and even the guys that we know from Germany and the States, and we were hanging around with them, they want educational videos. You know, like how to handle. You've got 20 episodes right here. Yeah. How to handle that. How to handle that 10-minute video. How to handle. You've got a lot that you can do. I think, and the maybe the nerd community is not as massive as you know the shake a box, throw a black mamba out, you know, like know. But there's definitely a community. There's value you can bring for sure. But,
and that's again like just finding the right voice, you know. It's I think it's so easy to be someone else when the camera's on, you know, like because you're trying to be what you think you want people to hear, but it's not actually what you want to say.
You've got to find your voice. That's I've struggled, not struggled, but I've had to go through it with the podcast. Is like I had this idea at one stage of like what I wanted it to be like, and then now what it is very different. Yeah. The end goal is the same, but the way I'm approaching it is more me. Yeah. And it's like, okay, cool, but that comes a lot more natural. The conversation flows. It's sustainable because you're not putting it on. Yeah. And you lose less hair. Well, I mean, mine's gone already, but
so you got nothing to lose, bro.
I got nothing. I've got hair on my legs, maybe. Like that's
no. But like you know, for me, like the YouTube thing, like I said earlier, is don't get me wrong. Like you watch these oaks who've got like these fishing channels, like the oaks getting paid to live his dream. Yeah. But like that would be nice. But again, it's just like let's say I do a video with some information on the snake and it sees 100 people. That's 100 people I haven't done a show for. And they've learned a little bit more. So does well. I'd like to hit 1,000 just because like that's like that's a nice, I've got 1,000.
Yes.
And then
the 1,000's that's like you wake up and it's like
you went up so like you had like 300 like, and then it just went like boom.
Yeah, it's from 270 to 1,000 happened in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it just came to a grinding halt. It's been like 6 weeks and I've gone from 1,003 to 1,036. Like 6 weeks. I don't know what's going on. It was nuts. But it was like, look, we did a giveaway, there was some value there, and it just shot.
The tattoo.
Yeah, the tattoo thing, that was great. But it's I don't know. It's you do it for the passion. You don't.
I had this one audio, and it was like so sad. It was like there's over 1 million YouTube channels, and like I put that up. I got like 200 subscribers. I was like, well, post this every day, right? But the next one didn't do well, so we stopped. I managed to do that every day. This is and that was like with us in the first week. And I'm like, this is easy, man.
But you posted like a video and just shot. You put your second video at like over 400, and I swear I was still like under 300, and I was like, yeah, snakes, bro. That's like it's so easy. It's so easy for summer, is that?
Yeah, it is easy content. That's like, if I think of, I don't know. Like I've always got like there's always something in here that's happening that someone hasn't seen.
Yes.
Like there's sometimes things that I haven't even seen that happens in here. So and I mean like we've got all the bugs as well. Plus like there's so many different things. But in the beginning I was like scared. I was like, let me just stick to one thing because and then I was like, bugger it. I don't stick to one thing in my real life.
Exactly.
So like I'm gonna do a video that's got a stick insect drinking water. Does it look weird? Like I'm just gonna post everything. If I find it cool and your mind is similar to mine, you'll probably find it cool.
You'll find, bro, there's an audience.
We'll chat.
There's only 8 billion people almost on this planet. There's probably 10 or 15,000 that would be interested in what you've got. There's probably 100 times that, actually, the real life.
But we just set easy goals.
Well, easy, attainable, just so we don't get depressed, Dude, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was loads of fun. I think we got to dive into like what you're doing a bit. I'm keen to see what you've got in the future. We'll do another one when you've got, I don't know, your own facility or something like
next year for sure, and it's gonna be sick. I think.
Love it.
I think everyone's like, I'm gonna make this place, and I promise you, it's gonna be the coolest thing ever.
It's like nothing you've ever seen in your life before, and then the real life hits.
All of a sudden you realize it'll cost you 35 billion rand to build it. But
and you can have 3 goats, and that's.
I just like shave my dogs, and give them tiger stripes or something, bro.
Yeah, why not? But dude, thank you so much.
Cool, thank you.
And we'll definitely catch you again.
Definitely. Shot.
Cheers, people.